Welcome to At the Capitol with Gail, with State Representative Gail Kulick Jackson. I'm Mike Howard. Representative, we've only got about a month left of the legislative session, but you folks have sure been busy.
Oh, it's going so fast, and I'm pleased that we are not only on track, but even ahead of schedule to get our work done.
Well, let's start with kind of taking a step back and looking at the whole broad picture of a lot of the bills that you've passed this year and the real bipartisan tilt to the session.
Oh, it's been a really positive improvement even over last year because, we've passed 108 bills so far, and which is, a great pace, but 93 of them have passed by at least 100 votes, and there have been several of mine that have passed either unanimously or maybe 130, 132 votes. So that getting together of both sides to find common sense solutions, it's happening.
And there's 134 members in the House, right? So to get 100 votes for all these bills, it's every Democrat, every Republican are working together on these things.
Absolutely.
And so, why do you think that is this year? That it looks like on track to finish on time, and there's a lot of the big goals that have been checked off the list. It just seems like this year, more than others, there's been an emphasis on working together.
A real emphasis on working together, more civility, and we did a lot of our homework prior to session because we're really aware of the fact that we are in a deficit, and that means state government operations too. And the last thing that our taxpayers need is for us to not get our work done on time. And everything from that bonding jobs bill to several other things, we met in the off season and really prepped so that once we got here, we had worked out kinks, we worked bipartisanly, and it's showing.
Well, let's talk about one of those 108 bills that you carried that had unanimous support, and that is a bill dealing with chiropractors who've committed felony-level sexual offenses. And I think it's an area of law where most people will be surprised that there needed to be legislation, but you put forward some real common sense legislation.
And Mike, I was surprised too. I first read about this particular chiropractor from Owatonna in the Star Tribune, that he had committed felony-level criminal sexual conduct against his own patients, did 2 years in prison, came right back out and was practicing chiropractic medicine again, and wasn't even mandated to tell his patients, let alone getting his license back. And so I quickly became chief author of a bill that would pull his license. And during the course of our committees, that bill, which had strong support from the chiropractors themselves, my bill was amended to include other healthcare providers. And I reached out to all the stakeholders, and let them know that we were expanding the bill to nurses, podiatrists, and I've had absolutely no objection from any of the healthcare provider groups. Been very encouraging, and yes, that bill passed unanimously on the House floor.
And so hopefully in the next week or so we can talk about that bill heading to the governor and get signed into law. Let's talk about some other common sense legislation that's moving through the process that you're involved with, dealing with a very serious issue, gun safety in our schools.
Absolutely. And these gun safety incidences really cut both ways. We've had some serious ones, that 14-year-old boy in Hastings bringing a loaded gun, and but for the gun misfiring, we could have some fatalities on our hands. Yeah. And on the other side of the spectrum, there was a kid in my district who had a bow. He was a bow hunter. It was broken. He had it in his trunk, and yet it was a technical violation of the no weapons in school, and the consequence was much too harsh. What I like about this bill is it's just plain common sense, and it differentiates between kids who bring guns to school loaded with the intent to hurt somebody, and the kid who just happened to have leftover ammo in his jacket pocket because he forgot.
Right. And I think it's just an example of trying to find a way to have laws that don't overreact, but are just really directed at getting the results that you really want, which are safe schools.
Absolutely. And so what we did is we upped the penalty for kids who bring in the loaded weapon with the intent to harm, and we dropped the penalty for the kids who, should think about it a little more, but certainly aren't the ones who should be treated as if they're criminals.
Well, we've only got a couple seconds left here. A lot of work done, still a lot of work to do, and hopefully it'll have that same bipartisan tilt that's kind of tinged this whole session.
Yeah, I think we have already set that tone, and we're going to continue.
Thanks for joining us. This has been At the Capitol with Gail, with your state representative, Gail Kulick Jackson.